Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sustain AR. I can see people are coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have been looking forward to revealing our Sustain AR app today. My name is Anja Gale, and I'm the founder of Spot Trends in Business, and it is my honor to be your host today. I will not be alone, so let me introduce also who I will bring on today while we're live here for the next 30 to 35 minutes. I will be joined also by Associate Professor Susanne Trane of VIA Design and Business. Hello, Susanne.
Hello, Anja. I'm here, and thank you for having me. And hello to everybody out there.
Great. I'll get back to you, Susanne, but I'll also be joined by Man Studio, Maria Encino. Are you with me as well?
Hi, Anja. Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Looking so much forward to hearing much more from you two. Also, much more from two of the fashion graduates. We will also be talking to them. Julia and Malte, are you with me as well?
Yes. Hi, Anja.
Hi. Hi, Malte. Good to see you. I'll be talking to you during towards the end of today's program. So I haven't introduced quietly what Sustain AR actually is, but I'll get right into that. I will be sharing my screen, and then I will tell you much more about what the program of today actually is. So for the next 30 to 35 minutes, we'll be going through all of these points here. In a minute, when I'm done with this agenda, I will be talking a little bit, just a short talk about future of fashion. I do that as a regular thing in my agency of Spot, where I do color forecasting, working in linking the future trends with consumer behavior, and then linking it to business properties for my clients here in Scandinavia and also in Europe. Next up, we'll be talking with Susanne, as you saw, about what the Sustain AR concept actually is. So we know why VIA Design and Business has chosen to go on this direction this year. And after that, we will be seeing the good behind the technology of Man Studio to know much more about how this is actually being done. And then finally, we'll hear from the fashion graduates, Julia and Malte, about the content, of course, what it is that we're actually viewing inside the app experience. And over to you, all of you out there, as the final thing for today's program, of course, a Q&A. You're welcome to put in your questions in the Q&A box, and we will have time to answer some of them towards the end of today's program. So I hope you will enjoy this combination of both talks, presentations, and videos, where we will reveal and launch the Sustain AR app made by VIA Design and Business. I will just go over definitely to my short talk here about the future of fashion. So what are we up for? It's been quite the year, and it's been quite the past that we're looking into for fashion industry. It's been quite turbulent, as it is for everyone. But when we're looking a little bit towards the future, we're looking to that it is a time of everything. So we're looking to that we are redoing it. The past decade has been really on getting on the track with things and allocating that we need to do things in a new way. So the next decade will definitely be where we're transforming, where we're doing things in new ways to transform the industry in itself. Of course, we will be able to see that sustainability and digitalization as the 2 points we're also putting together today with the Sustain AR app experience. These two elements are, of course, some of the core drivers of this transformation of doing things in another way. So we're re-educating, we're reconnecting, we're rethinking, and we're remaking within the fashion industry as an overall theme and mega trend, as we're seeing. And it is, of course, also imperative to know that even though we've been through this pandemic, we're seeing that some of the challenges that we had prior has not disappeared at all just because we're fighting against COVID-19 at the moment. So the sustainability is, of course, super imperative and super present still. And this is just a slide to show you that we're still facing these issues within the fashion industry. And the numbers from Ellen MacArthur Foundation are completely showing that challenges that we have, of course, within the fashion industry. So sustainability is a major cause, and it has also been accelerated and been highlighted within the past time that we've been in. And therefore, we're also seeing that that is super important for the next coming decade and the future of fashion. So what tracks are we seeing within sustainability right now and within the future? I've been looking to these 4 different tracks. So the right to repair, we're looking into repair, and I will show you some examples shortly with this. Pre-loved resale, textile innovations. We've spent the past decade also looking into really reinventing and looking into new technologies and new innovations within the textile industry. And then the next level will be the regenerative era. We'll be seeing that once we look back, maybe from 2030, that is the regenerative past, and that would be the next level of sustainability. So let me go into some of these tracks and just show you some brief examples here. Repair and assemble is one track that goes into sustainability partly for the fashion industry. Here exemplified with Studio Mend, as you can see here, where they're taking pre-loved and recycled styles and giving them new life by mending and repairing them, where they're using the mending as a creative method and a way of expression. So, and we're also seeing an example of Simone Post with Lasting Leather Project, where scraps of leather, surplus leather scraps is being put together and assembled again for a new and artistic approach. Pre-loved is a second approach to sustainability also, where we're seeing those pre-loved items being conceptualized, again, being put together. Here, a collection from Anouk Becker, A Garment to Unravel, where we're seeing that past and existing styles are being reconceptualized and put together in a new aesthetic and a new bold patchwork format. We're also seeing that resale is, of course, also a major track of this, and we're seeing that also in this quarantine period in the pandemic, that we've seen that this has been thriving. So we'll see that in the future and in the coming decade, the consumers will shift to thrift to a larger extent. This is a report from ThredUp, a major resale platform that has really gained momentum also through the past time. So resale, as long as repair is a track here for sustainability. Textile innovation, also super interesting when it comes to sustainability. I want to highlight here Spinova as a new sustainable material made out of wood resources without harmful chemicals. So we're also just inventing completely new textiles that can be used for the fashion industry with less of an impact on environment. Another example of this is the biodescent sequins made by Elisa Brunotto, also made from a resource of wood, where they can still be the shimmering element that we also love and have loved in the fashion industry. We're seeing that this can now also be made from more environmentally friendly resources. And textile innovation also becomes mechanical and more systematic with a recent and a new example, Green Machine by H&M, which is a sample of how we can maybe also transform the way and the usage of our fashion at consumer level. So the Green Machine is a machine that can actually recycle fashion, just like we're recycling soda cans or bottles and plastic bottles, as we're very much used to now. So this is a prototypic example and some of the innovations that H&M is looking into for a more sustainable future for fashion. The final one is then where we're seeing the next level of sustainability. We're seeing the point of where we're looking into regenerative materials, and sustainable materials is very well, and it's a great step ahead towards a more circular fashion system. But once we talk about the next level of regenerative materials, we're talking about materials that actually has a positive impact on environment, giving back to the resources that we've taken. And here are just some examples of it. Eelgrass textiles by Sustera and Covert, made from eelgrass example and then made into both textiles and hardboards and material, or the Plumo air powder, which is a surplus chicken feather installation textile product. So here we are looking at materials that will also give back as a part of this new and more sustainable fashion industry. To close my little talk here, I also want to highlight and say that, yeah, hey, the part of the future of fashion is also to see that we're gonna see that people are gonna be able to go out again, and it's gonna be a more free and more social orientation we hopefully see in the future on the other side of this pandemic. And fashion definitely also needs to be ready for that move and for that reaction once that comes, and we're looking to the near future of maybe 22 in case that this is. So we're also looking for something to celebrate again, and fashion is of course a big part of that. It's a way to express yourself. That's the core DNA of fashion. So I hope that this of course will be in a more retransformed way and in a more sustainable way. So that was my little short talk about the future of fashion, just highlighting some different elements that I've been tracking and seeing within the fashion industry. Now we want to go back to a little bit what it is that we're looking for today. Susanne, do I have you with me here? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. I would love to introduce Susanne, Associate Professor of VIA Design and Business, who have been one of the project managers here in the Sustain AR concept that we are introducing today. So Susanne, let's get right to it. What is actually the Sustain AR concept that we are revealing today?
Well, at VIA Design and Business, we have a long tradition for an annual talent exhibition in the form of a runway show. But times are changing, so as the technology within communication moves forward, so do we. And this year we present our fashion talents in an augmented reality universe. A universe where you can experience the versatile design concepts on your iOS devices in your home using the app Sustain AR, which can be downloaded through App Store for free. It's a fun way to discover the details and tactility of the designs, something you cannot do at a runway show. And as the shareability of the app is easier and more interesting, we hope to reach out to more people and prolong the lifespan of the talent exhibition.
Wow. That's impressive. So from a physical runway show to going completely digital, and then having sustainability as a part driver of that. How have the graduates actually worked with sustainability within their educational program and within the fashion they have created?
Yeah, well, sustainability is a complex issue and has many facets. But during their education, our students work with both circular business models and methods for sustainable design practices. So they are taught 3D pattern design, but also learn about responsible production methods. And the work of the fashion talents that we promote in this app reflects a variety of approaches to a more sustainable fashion industry. Some students use dead stock fabric or pre-loved styles, which they transform into new designs. And some use fashion as an outcry to draw the consumer's attention to social or environmental issues. And others again use design and construction methods that allow a flexibility in sizing, for instance, but also in aesthetics in order to prolong the collection's longevity.
Interesting. That is so many tracks and so many competences that the graduates are gaining and coming out, maybe being part of this transformative decade for the fashion industry. What do you see for the future perspective on this whole digital fashion era?
Well, the technology that we use in this app is not new. Or the technology we use on a broader line, but also it's up to us to find out how we can use the 3D scanning, the 3D rendering, VR and AR in our design phases. Can it lead to a more responsible production methods, for instance? Or how can we reach the customer with the right product through the right communication technology? And does the optimized communication reduce overproduction? If we, for instance, can persuade the consumer to buy clothes with a higher sustainability factor, then it makes sense that you as a consumer have your personal avatar, so you can try on the clothes virtually before you buy it, or maybe even before it's produced. So this is actually how haute couture business has worked for centuries. So now we add technology in order to democratize the concept and make the business model more circular.
Wow, it sounds like a win-win, Susanne. Do you feel that way? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. We're working on many parameters here.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a very interesting time for us.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Susanne, for highlighting and bringing a little background to the Sustain AR concept. That is wonderful. Now, of course, we're super intrigued to get to know much more about the actual technology and the actual app that has been developed. So I would like to welcome Man Studio on board. Hello, Sina, are you here?
Yes, hi, we're here.
Yes, welcome, welcome. So you are the founders of Man Studio and behind the app that we have been looking for. And I know that a lot of people also already have downloaded prior to this. So, but we're in this fashion area. Maria, what is your experience with these XR technologies in the fashion area so far?
Yeah, so XR stands for extended realities. This includes both virtual reality and augmented reality. And VR, virtual reality, is where you wear the goggles, and AR is where you see virtual objects appearing in the real environment through a digital screen like a phone. And both these medias can be used to showcase products and collections, like what we have done here with Sustain AR. What's amazing with augmented reality is that with this concept, we have the possibility to show real size models wearing the designer's clothes that we have scanned. And this is just a great way to engage with audiences and showcase this clothes, especially now in these times when we don't have a fair, a physical fair. So it's an easy and sustainable way for your brand to engage with customers and retailers. And with virtual reality, it's also possible to give fully immersive experiences where you are completely surrounded and you can see places that you might not necessarily have the access to before. So this gives brands the opportunity to maybe show their unique product supply chain to make their brands more transparent. An example is that we made X-Ray Fashion, which in 2018, it's a VR documentary about the darker side of the production of garment within the fast fashion industry. And here you get to see a catwalk show in New York, and you get to see a dark sweatshop in India. And also you get to see a polluted river in India showing from the dye of the fabrics. So there are definitely so many new possibilities with XR for the fashion industry.
I can imagine, yes, and it was really also some great examples that you had there. But Sina, however, one of the challenges that has been with working with these XR technologies within the fashion industry has been, you know, the loss of tactility and the details in fashion. Everyone's been saying, yeah, we need to see it up close and physical. How have you been working with the challenge in Sustain AR?
Well, throughout the past years, we've had great success with using the technique called photogrammetry, where we use DSLR cameras to scan real-life models and then convert these to 3D assets then with high resolution that we can implement within the virtual space. And implementing these within the virtual space, we create this virtual frame in where our audiences can move as they please, come up real close to the garments and see the high resolution in whatever framing they wish. And then complemented with the 2D storyboards that we've implemented within the app as well, you can really get to see the garment from all of these different positions that it's in. And at that point, it's almost as if your eyes can start feeling the garment for you. And that's because we have this catalog in the back of our mind of tactile and stimulus references. And at least it's our perception that since the majority of us have worn clothes our entire lives, we do have a high sense of depiction of how garment feels. So photogrammetry is definitely one method of approaching the loss of tactility with this high resolution that you can really move up close to.
Yes, and I have to say, I've of course tried the app, and you can really get super up close and see the details of these graduates' collections. Maria, what have you, now you've had several examples of working with XR in the fashion industry, what new options have you been working on with the Sustain AR app?
Yeah, so the Sustain AI is a result of our second collaboration with Via Design. It's a progression from the Era 360 project that we did last year. And again, added to the knowledge we got from that project, the global pandemic, of course, also has to affect some of the variables. The main purpose of this project was to showcase the graduates' designs, and it should preferably work both at a physical location, because we were hoping, like so many others, that we could be at a physical fair. But it was also important that if the unlucky should happen, that it should be canceled, it should also be available online for the audiences to engage with it. And the result is this AR app that you can download on App Store. In this app, you can see life-size models wearing the designs to be presented. And we have introduced a video function and a camera function in hope to increase shareability. And we have also included, as Sina mentioned, some 2D pictures and a voiceover narrative from the designers themselves and pictures from their real lookbook in order for giving the audience a better understanding of the visions behind each piece. And that's what we have done with this project.
Yes, we would definitely encourage people to share their experience with this app. I've seen it in gardens, on streets, and in different homes. So that is super interesting. Sina, here at the end, what do you see as the future of these XR technologies?
A lot's going to happen. To start off with, an experience such as Sustain AR currently has to be app driven because it's heavy in terms of the content produced, and it's also about, you know, having the control over the virtual space. But as of right now, we're also starting to see web-based experiences really peaking and reaching a point where you can start utilizing them a lot more. And web-based is no longer where you need an application, but you can simply scroll through your browser and you can have an experience right there on your phone without any other barriers to that. We're also seeing, you know, virtual wearables. We've been seeing that for quite some time now with Snapchat and Instagram filters that you can place these wearables on you. But in the future, the algorithm is going to mature a lot more. So we'll start seeing human scannings where we can also fit garments or digital garments to our actual bodies, and it can advise us on size and shape and whatnot. In total, like, just this complete virtual appetite we're going to see expand massively, that within the industry, and that both concerns the virtual shows, the purchasing of virtual garments, and that entire brand universes will become solely dependent on being digitally driven. So there's still a lot to be developed at this point, that's fair to say, but with the options made available, we're definitely going to see a very large expansion within an already very creative industry.
wow, I wish the future was now, so that we will be able to see some of these technologies come through and be able to help us. And less friction is always, you know, welcome. So we look forward to that. Stine and Maria, thank you very much for highlighting this and giving us some insight behind the technology. We'll be coming back to you guys later at the end of the program. But now I think we should see more about what we're talking about, the Sustain AR app. So I have a presentation and a guide just to get you familiar with how the app actually works.
Hello, and welcome to a quick overview of the Sustain AR application. To start off with, please enter the App Store on your iOS device and search for the Sustain AR app in the search bar. As soon as you find the app, go ahead and download it. It's free. You can now find the app located on your start screen. Tap the Sustain AR icon and you're immediately transferred to the app. You will be guided through a quick introduction and best practices for a successful viewing. Once you have read those through, click on the Next button. You will be asked to wait a few moments while the app loads your experience. You will also be asked to give permission to your microphone and camera function. Upon accepting these terms, you can walk around, pointing your rear camera towards the floor to start scanning a surface. Once you have scanned enough floor, you can tap the screen with your finger and place your augmented reality experience. The experience consists of 5 themes, and the models can be observed from all angles from within the 3D world. You can tap the scene name at the bottom right corner of the screen for a new scene. Alternatively, you can tap the 3-line icon and a menu will appear. You have the option to choose between 5 different scenes, each with their own theme and description. If you have any questions during the experience, you can always seek help in our FAQ and credit section. Welcome to Earth First. This is Design-tivism. This is Animus Anime. Welcome to Rebound. Lastly is Reshaping. Tap any of the 24 photogrammetry models and the designer's name will appear alongside their 2D storyboard and voiceover. If you wish to take any pictures during your experience, simply tap the large round button at the bottom of the screen. First time taking a photo, you will be asked to give permission. Please give the app access to your photo gallery. If you want to shift to camera mode, click on the icon in the left corner to switch over to video mode. Then, press the large round button at the bottom of the screen to start filming, indicated by the red line. From your camera features, there is also direct access to social media accounts, such as Instagram. You can upload your captures, write a text, such as #SustainAR, and upload it directly to your feed. Have fun experiencing Sustain AR yourself.
Yes, so if you haven't downloaded the app already, you feel free to do so. It is free and available on iOS devices. The title is Sustain AR. So we would love to get you to experience it for yourself right where you are. But we got introduced to a little bit of the content that is also in the app, and of course also at the core of it, the fashion graduates of VIA Design and Business. So let's hear a little bit from them about what we're actually experiencing within the app. Julia, are you with me? And
Yes.
Melde also later on?
Yeah.
Great. Julia, first of all, congratulations on your exam. You're now a fashion designer.
Yeah.
Let's start up with you. Your collection is under the area of Earth First. What has been your starting point of working with sustainability?
Yes. As an upcoming designer, we have heard the word sustainability a lot. It has been a very important word for us. Sustainability can really be a big jungle to step into, but my starting point in the work with sustainability was the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I found the goal number 12 very interesting to work with. A sentence that really caught my eyes was that sustainable consumption and production are about doing more and better with less. a way of thinking for the designers and the manufacturers to develop new, innovative products that are sustainable and responsible. What if we can use the materials we already have available, maximizing value and longevity, and keep the products stay alive? That's why my collection is based and manufactured from pre-loved resources and decorated with leftover materials from the production.
Wow. So you're taking one of the tracks that I also mentioned within the sustainability about using materials that we already have available. What challenges has it been for you to work in this way and to apply this sustainable track to your collection?
One of the challenges I saw in working with dead stock and pre-loved fabrics was to turn the negative pile of dead stock into something positive. But of course, there was also some practical challenges in my work with dead stock. Unlike the traditional design process, which starts with an idea and then you work on your sketches, working with dead stock and pre-loved fabrics starts with considering what can be made from existing fabrics. I also had to keep in mind that I only had a limited amount of the different fabrics. So sometimes there was only enough fabric to make only one style or only one sleeve. But again, I worked on turning the negative into something positive. So I just think that it adds something unique and personal to each style. Maybe the customer also wants to keep the product for a longer time, and that is also sustainable in my opinion. I just kept thinking about what we have right here in front of us is good enough, so why not use it?
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And here we actually see some of your collections here, Julia. As you can see, what has been the aesthetic side of things?
Yeah, my collection, Stof til Eftertanke, is inspired by the layers of a human. The collection uses a large volume of textile layering, modern patchwork, visual communication, and a clear graphical expression. At the pictures here, you can see that I worked with also fabric manipulation to also incorporate my inspiration textile layering into the fabric. I also wanted to show that you can use the different pre-loved materials, put them together, and then you have a completely new piece of fabric with a new and different expression. And of course, overall was the mindset about that everything is good enough. That was also very important for me throughout the whole process.
Great. Thank you very much, Julia. I will head over to Melde to hear a little bit from you, Melde. You are also within the scene of Earth First. Your visual expression is a little bit different. How have you worked with sustainability?
Yeah, in my project, I have had a critical view on the consumer society. There's so much overconsumption going around, and we live in a culture of there's fast food and fast fashion, and I wanted to do something a little bit else. So my inspiration was slow living, because I wanted to make clothes with real value. So yeah, my collection is made to last. It is made to connect with you emotionally. It is made for you to keep and cherish. And each product in the collection is there for a reason. I've worked with the sustainability, not only in the materials and that the fact it is slow fashion, but also on the aesthetic side. I used a lot of theory to predict what it takes for a person to keep their product and connect with it.
Okay. So you were working with new materials. What has been the challenges then for you on this track of sustainability?
Well, in terms of material, there's no truly sustainable or golden options. Like even the natural organic fibers I've used in my collection has its downsides. And yeah, in terms of design, my hardest challenge has been to create something that is honest and timeless, but still has that wow factor. So it doesn't get dull.
All right. And what about the aesthetic side from your point? What are we viewing here?
Yeah, my collection is called Du Danske Jord, and it takes the slow living culture, and I put my own perspective on it. I've used my childhood on the countryside and the nature around it. The nature is represented in both my materials, my loose silhouettes, and my print, which is made from hand-drawn flowers in order to showcase this slow quality.
Wow, so you've really been also back into the craft of old fashion techniques, I assume.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Julie and Malte. It's been a pleasure to see some of your looks, and good luck on your path forward in this industry.
Thank you so much.
Great. So thank you very much for having us here today. Thank you very much to Julia, Malte, Sine, Maria at Men, and also thank you, Susanne, for having joining me here today to talk about the Sustain AR and reviewing it. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insights, and I look forward for you to be able to explore the Sustainable AR app with you at home and get up close and personal with the fashion graduates' final collections from Via Design.